Hey guys, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and I'm going to talk a little bit about books and anxiety, as well as sharing some bookish thoughts with you about a couple things that I've been looking at recently. So if you can't tell, I'm not at top energy right now. So to help make what I'm going to say make more sense, let me give you some basic facts and background. I live in a very, very small town. The biggest store we have is the local grocery store. We used to have kind of like a Shopco kind of place, and that went out of business and was replaced by a hardware store. Not something that's useful to me right now. Anyway, there's not much to do here. Our local library is closed on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And because I'm a teacher, I can't get there very often during the week, so I have to rely on my own book finding sources. You know that I do subscription boxes, and I've ordered books from Amazon. I have an order coming from the King's English in Salt Lake, which is just 2 hours away. I could have driven to the store and got these books faster than they're shipping to me, but anyway, okay, I'm gonna get mad. Anyway. My book of the month box, the tracking said that it was here Thursday. It's now Saturday, and now the tracking says arriving late, and it's nowhere to be found. I'm struggling. It's not the post office's fault. It's not FedEx or UPS's fault. I mean, I live in a place that's covered in snow right now. It snowed 4 or 5 inches last night. I'm sorry. Normally when I'm having a really bad anxiety day like this, just being in a place where there's books helps. I'm sitting in my office where my book collection from home is. I don't feel good. I just finished reading a really wonderful book, and I've been in and out of a Zoom conference thing that the King's English Bookshop is doing online this weekend, and that part's been really fun. So there have been positive aspects to my day, and when I talk about this book in a minute, I don't want you to think that I wasn't enjoying it as I finished it, because I really was. But it was kind of like when I finished this book and then went to the post office, I was hit with this wall of anxiety and just depression, and my whole life is not centered around books. I want you to know that. It's just that right now the only thing that I can think to help me feel better is books. I can't go see family, partly because of the weather, but also because my parents are currently in Hawaii right now, so I can't go see them. My sister is sick. My brother's family is building a house, so their whole life is in chaos, and they're living in a condo, which they don't have room enough for themselves, let alone a random sister dropping by to visit. So I'll go see them at Thanksgiving, but I do have some ARCs that I got through NetGalley that I could sit and read, but I can't even go to a Walmart and stand in the book aisle because of the stupid snowstorm. So also, no one that I know in real life will understand what I'm talking about. So I thought I'm going to reach out to my YouTube friends, because some of you especially always leave such positive comments, and I know that you will get it when I understand how frustrated I am, just that I was counting on a book to help me feel better, a specific book that was supposed to be here in the mail, and it's not, and you will understand what that feels like. Okay, now I told myself I wasn't going to cry, and I've already blown through that. And so the other thing I told myself before starting this video was that I wanted to switch gears and talk about at least 2 books that are positive that I've been encountered lately. So I'm going to take a second to dry the tears from my face, and I'll come back in just a minute to hopefully be a little bit more positive. Okay, so my face is still a little bit red, and that's okay. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. So I'm just going to sit here and fidget with my time turner for a minute and talk to you about good things. I think it's important that we share our hard times, especially during this crazy, weird 2020, like, garbage fire of a year. Like, I don't know. It's a mess, and I think it's okay to, like, see other people dealing with their struggles. So, I always preach to my students this phrase, choose happy. And so this is my, like, real-time efforts to try to choose happy in this moment. I am going to try to do that by talking to you about 2 books that I am in love with. So, as I mentioned earlier, I finished this book this morning. It is Horrid by Katrina Leno. Chelsea Palmer, if you know her, she has an amazing booktube channel. She described this as YA horror perfection. She's not wrong. It is utterly fantastic. This is the Owlcrate edition, so it's got red roses. The regular one are more blackish, purplish, I think. But this is about a girl named Jane who grew up in California, and she and her mom are moving to Maine. Her father has passed away tragically, sudden heart attack, and she and her mom are going back to the house that her mom grew up in, and Jane has never been there. She has no knowledge of the house, the town, anything. She only knows that they're out of money due to some poor decisions that her father had made in business and such, and she and her mom have got to go back to this town, and they get to the house, and it's not pretty. It looks run down. It's very large. There are, like, rose bushes growing out of control everywhere, and on the inside of this dust jacket, there's actually some really cool art that is an illustration of her standing outside the house. So I want to pull this off and just show you. We can see it's very much done up like a spooky old house, and there's a light on in a room, and you can see that there's a person or figure there. And then we can see Jane, and she's holding a book behind her back. That's going to become important in the story as well. And Jane starts this new high school, and she is trying to be really positive for her mom, but weird things are happening. Someone, shortly after they move in, throws a rock and breaks the window, and she's kind of like near there when it happens and ends up stepping all over the glass, and her feet get cut up. And then more, like, not normal things start to happen. Like, her friend from back home says, that text you sent me was really weird, and she looked at her phone and had sent a text, but she didn't remember sending it, and that happens to her a couple of times with some other people. She does get a job at a local bookstore and coffee shop, and a co-worker there, Will, she gets him involved in Agatha Christie books because she's a fan of mysteries. And so they become friends. Will's sister Susie also becomes one of her good friends at school, and there's a girl, Lana, who's a good friend as well. And then there's this other girl at school, Melanie, who's just kind of basically nasty to her, and they have some contention between the two of them. But most of the action takes place at the house, and we see creepy things happen. Like, when they first moved back, Jane's mom went out and cut down all the roses because she just hates roses, and they grew back the next day, and they were black. I know. Like, whoa, why? And this book, like, for a while, like, at least the first half of the book, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like roses anymore after this, but I'm fine. But when I tell you that this book was scary, I mean like to the point that through the week I would really want to read it, but then by the time I was ready to sit down and read after schoolwork and my own homework and all this stuff, I felt like it's too late at night. If I read this, I'm going to have bad nightmares. It was that scary for me. Maybe I scare easily, or maybe it's just as good scary book. I don't know. But the ending, I'm not going to spoil it. Don't worry. The ending, it still kind of got me reeling. I know it's only been like an hour and a half-ish as I'm filming this since I finished the book, but I'm still kind of like, what in the world? I am so shook. Like, seriously, still concerned about the welfare of characters, because even though they're fictional and live on paper, in my mind, they're actually still there continuing out the story, and I don't know what the heck is going on with them. So, if you're looking for a good scary book, definitely pick up Horrid by Katrina Leno. It's, so good. Just, yeah. The other book I want to talk about is one that I have read the actual text of many times, which is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the Mina Lima edition that it has pop-outs and gorgeous illustrations and all kinds of beautiful, amazing, magical things. As a teacher, I am a member of the Scholastic Book Club, and when my students order books, we get points, and I order books from them a lot, which builds up our points, and I have quite a cache of bonus points, so I use it to buy special editions of Harry Potter. So when the illustrated editions come out, I use my points to buy those, and I also use my points to buy this. I'm not going to show you everything in the book, but I want to show you a couple of really cool things, because this book is just stunningly beautiful. And if you're going, holy crap, that's a thick book for the first Harry Potter, it's because of all the extra stuff that they put in here. So we have some pages that just simply are illustrated, like this one here. This is in the first chapter, and we have some people, wizards and witches, walking through town celebrating. And if you remember in the beginning, this is when Voldemort has been defeated by Harry when he was a baby, like the first time, and all the witches and wizards were out celebrating and having a grand old time. So there's lots of pages that have illustrations in the page. There are some full page illustrations, like this one of Harry sitting in his little nook of cupboard under the stairs, and this is in chapter 2. Some pages have cool pop-out things. Now, here we have a 2-page illustration, and then we have Mr. H. Potter, the floor hut on the rock, the sea. This is his acceptance letter. It flops open like this, and then it opens like this, and it has his acceptance letter popping out on this side, and all of the supplies he has to buy in Diagon Alley, like his uniforms, course books, and other equipment. So you get to have this interactive experience as you're reading the book. And another pop-out I want to show you is Diagon Alley itself. I can't hold both things out at once, so you're going to have to bear with me. This is half of Diagon Alley. All the shops pop out. And then more pop out on this side. They're so beautiful. And all of these illustrations are so lovely. I mean, even a simple page like this just has some little swirlies and curly cues on the corners, and that just is fun. What is this doing? Okay. I'll show you one more thing. It's not really a pop-out, but it's an interactive thing. We have the fat lady, and can you see her eyes moving? Love it. I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you. The other day when this came, I was so happy, and just like, oh, so happy. So, having said that, you probably think, oh my gosh, this girl is freaking nuts. She was sobbing in the first part of the video, and now she's like happily nerding out over a Harry Potter book. Welcome to my life. Oh, this is part of the curse of mental illness and being a reader and living in a small town where there are no bookstores and the mail has to bring you everything. So I don't want you guys to be stressed about me. I will be fine. And yeah, there's more than just book stuff that has caused the tears. Some crazy things have been happening lately. Just because it's 2020 and everything's absolutely insane, but I just felt such a need to vent my emotions, and I know that at least one of my viewers out there will understand where I'm coming from. So yeah. So I just want to thank all of you lovely people out there who have been so kind to me in the comments. I know that I don't have a super big channel and a super big following, but being able to create something to put out there and have positive interactions with some people has truly been so much fun, and I will continue to enjoy doing that as well. So as I continue my journey through the rest of this day and weekend to choose happy, I hope you are able to do so as well if you have hardships or whatever, and let me know if you have great tips for overcoming like totally feeling bummed out. So have a wonderful and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.